The Lost Archives, 12 masterpieces hidden in plain sight. Have you ever opened up Tubi, or any streaming app for that matter, thinking you already know exactly what is there? You scroll, and you scroll, only to realize that something might have slipped through the cracks. We all get into that rhythm where we think we have seen the bottom of the barrel. But what if I told you that you were wrong? What if some of the rarest, most significant classics ever made were added quietly to the platform, completely without headlines or hype? These aren't the movies you see trending. These are not the movies everyone reposts on social media. These are the ghosts of cinema. These are the ones that vanished, the ones that waited in the dark, and then suddenly reappeared where almost no one noticed them. We are going deep today. Stick with me, because buried somewhere in this list is a film that didn't just entertain audiences, it reshaped cinema itself, and yet most people still scroll right past it. Let's stop scrolling and start watching. Number 12 is The Night of the Hunter, released in 1955. You know, some films feel like you are just watching a movie. But some films feel discovered rather than watched. The Night of the Hunter is one of those incredibly rare movies that moves like a dream you simply cannot shake. It lingers in your mind long after the screen goes black. It was directed by Charles Laughton. This was his only turn behind the camera, and when you see it, you realize why that is significant. He broke every rule Hollywood followed in the 1950s. Think about the movies of that era. They were usually about safety, moral clarity, and comfort. But this? Instead of comfort, it offered shadows. Instead of clarity, it gave us deep unease. At the center of it is Robert Mitchum. He delivers a performance so calm that it becomes absolutely frightening. He plays a wandering creature whose soft voice and polite manners feel carefully arranged. It feels like a trap waiting to snap shut. The story follows two children trying to escape him. As they run, they drift through farms, down empty roads, and float down a river that feels endless. Visually, this is a masterpiece. Every frame looks hand-painted. You will see tall shadows stretch across the walls in ways that aren't realistic. Faces appear half-hidden, as if the film itself is watching you. When it was first released, audiences didn't understand it. Critics called it strange, and studios didn't know how to market something so poetic and unsettling. Because of this confusion, the film failed financially, and Charles Laughton never directed again. But filmmakers remembered. Over time, it became one of the most studied movies in cinema history. For years, it was hard to find in a proper version. But now, it's quietly sitting on Tubi, restored and waiting for you. I have to warn you, this is not background viewing. This is a film that demands attention and rewards it with unforgettable imagery. Once you see it, you'll understand why it refuses to fade. Moving on to number 11, we have Witness for the Prosecution, from 1957. If clever storytelling were a sport, this film would still be undefeated. We have all seen courtroom dramas, but Witness for the Prosecution is a courtroom drama that moves like a chess match. It was directed by the genius Billy Wilder, and it proves that tension doesn't need noise, it needs timing. The cast is incredible. Tyrone Power plays a man accused of a serious crime. But the real power comes from Marlene Dietrich. She dominates the screen as his wife, delivering one of the sharpest performances of her entire career. And look who we see again, Charles Laughton appears again, but this time he is in front of the camera. He plays a sharp-minded lawyer whose wit masks his exhaustion and determination. When you watch this, pay attention to the construction. Every scene feels precise. Every line has a purpose. But what made this movie legendary was its ending. When it premiered in theaters, the theaters actually asked viewers not to talk about it. That kind of secrecy was almost unheard of at the time. The twists land not because they shock you cheaply, but because they are carefully earned through dialogue and structure. Despite receiving award nominations and strong praise, the film slowly slipped out of everyday rotation. Rights issues and limited access made it something people talked about more than they actually watched. That is why its arrival on Tubi matters so much. This is a reminder that great cinema doesn't rush you. It invites you in, lets you think, and then pulls the rug out with a smile. Even decades later, it still feels smarter than most films released today. Let's jump forward in time for number 10. Body Heat, released in 1981. If the previous film was a chess match, Body Heat doesn't shout, it simmers. Set during a suffocating Florida summer, this film revives classic noir energy and gives it a modern pulse. The casting is perfect. William Hurt plays a confident lawyer who believes he's always one step ahead of everyone else. But then Kathleen Turner walks into his life and quietly proves otherwise.
Oh, to have a house.
Kathleen Turner's performance became iconic almost instantly. Watch her closely. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't rush. Every look feels intentional. Director Lawrence Kasdan builds the film around atmosphere rather than action. In this movie, long pauses matter. The heat hangs in the air. The danger feels personal. When the film was released, critics compared it to classic noir titles from decades earlier. But Body Heat felt fresh. It trusted the audience to follow subtle cues instead of spelling everything out. Over time, distribution issues caused it to disappear from streaming platforms, turning it into a hard-to-find favorite among film fans. Its return on Tubi feels like opening a sealed time capsule. The colors glow. The tension still works. This is the kind of movie that proves restraint can be powerful. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is wasted. If you enjoy stories where mood carries the weight and every choice has consequences, Body Heat delivers from the first scene to the last quiet moment. Number 9 brings us to a film that changes the pace entirely. Runaway Train, 1985. Runaway Train is not just fast, it's relentless. The concept is fascinating. Based on a story by the Japanese master Akira Kurosawa, this film throws two escaped prisoners onto a massive train with no one in control. Visually, it is freezing. Snow-covered landscapes blur past as momentum builds and choices disappear. Jon Voight gives one of his most intense performances, portraying a man hardened by life, yet driven by pride. Opposite him, Eric Roberts plays the younger companion caught between fear and admiration. But the third character is the machine. The train itself feels alive, roaring through frozen terrain with no concern for what's inside. What sets this film apart is its emotional weight. It's not about speed alone. It's about freedom, consequence, and what happens when people realize control is an illusion. When it first came out, critics struggled to label it. Was it an action film, a character drama, or a symbolic journey? The answer was all of the above. For years, the movie drifted in and out of availability, never quite settling into public memory. Its arrival on Tubi gives it the space it always deserved. This is filmmaking that feels physical and urgent. You can feel the cold. You can feel the pressure. And by the end, you're left thinking about how far a person can go once there's no turning back. At number 8, we step into the surreal. The Man Who Fell to Earth, 1976. This is science fiction that doesn't rush to explain itself. The Man Who Fell to Earth stars David Bowie as an otherworldly visitor who arrives with a clear goal, only to become slowly lost in the noise of human life. The film isn't about space. It's about isolation and distraction. Director Nicholas Regg tells the story in fragments, letting scenes drift and overlap. Because of this style, time feels unstable. Meaning arrives quietly. Bowie's performance feels natural, almost effortless, as if he truly doesn't belong in this world. When the film was released, audiences were divided. Some found it confusing. Others saw something deeply moving. But over time, it became a cult favorite among artists and filmmakers who connected with its themes of fame and disconnection. Ownership issues kept it out of circulation for years. But now, restored and available on Tubi, the film finally looks the way it was meant to be seen. The desert landscapes glow. The silence carries weight. This is not a movie you watch casually. It lingers. It asks questions without answering them. And once it ends, it leaves you thinking about how easy it is to lose yourself when the world never stops pulling you in. Number 7 is a masterpiece of paranoia. The Conversation, 1974. This is a thriller that whispers instead of shouting. The Conversation follows Gene Hackman as a quiet surveillance expert who makes a living listening to other people's private moments. He lives by a code. He believes staying distant keeps him safe. Then, one recording begins to bother him, and that distance stops working. Context is important here. Director Francis Ford Coppola made this film between his massive studio projects, but this one feels deeply personal. There are no flashy moments, no dramatic speeches, just the slow build-up of unease. The more Hackman's character listens, the less certain he becomes about what he's hearing and what it means. Sound is the real star here.
Get out now.
Conversations overlap. Words repeat. Small changes in tone completely shift meaning. You start to notice how fragile truth can be when it depends on interpretation. Hackman plays the role with restraint, showing a man whose calm surface slowly cracks under pressure. When the film was released, it earned major awards and praise. Yet, it quietly faded behind louder movies from the same era. Over time, it became harder to find in clean form, which only added to its mystique. Now streaming on Tubi, it feels more relevant than ever. It's a reminder that tension doesn't need chaos. Sometimes all it takes is a voice, a pause, and the realization that you may have misunderstood everything. Number 6 takes us to a place of nostalgia and loss. The Last Picture Show, 1971. Some movies feel like memories you didn't live but somehow recognize. The Last Picture Show is set in a fading Texas town where the local movie theater is closing, and with it the dreams of everyone who once believed life would lead somewhere better. It was shot entirely in black and white, making the film feel like an old photograph coming to life. Director Peter Bogdanovich captures small moments instead of big drama. He focuses on awkward silences, missed chances, and conversations that say more through what's left unsaid. The story follows a group of young people played by legends like Jeff Bridges, Timothy Bottoms, and Sybil Shepherd as they navigate love, disappointment, and growing up faster than they want to. The town itself feels like a character, slowly emptying, slowly forgetting itself. When the film was released, critics praised it as a modern masterpiece. The performances earned major awards, especially Cloris Leachman, whose role adds quiet heartbreak to the story. Yet over time, the film became harder to access, often limited to special releases. Its appearance on Tubi feels fitting. This is a film about endings, about realizing some things never return. It doesn't rush you. It sits with you, and long after it ends, the feeling stays. Number 5. The Day of the Locust, 1975. This is Hollywood without the shine. The Day of the Locust pulls back the curtain on the dream factory and shows what happens when hope curdles into obsession. Directed by John Schlesinger, the film is set during the golden age of movies, but refuses to romanticize it. Donald Sutherland plays an artist who moves to Los Angeles chasing opportunity and slowly realizes the city feeds on illusion. Karen Black delivers a striking performance as a woman desperate to be noticed, clinging to dreams that grow more fragile with every scene. The film feels chaotic by design. Scenes swing between glamour and discomfort. Crowds feel restless. Smiles feel forced. Everything builds toward a finale that feels overwhelming, not because it's loud, but because it exposes the hunger underneath the fantasy. When it was released, audiences didn't know how to react. Some found it uncomfortable, others called it fearless. Over time, the film slipped out of circulation, surviving mostly through worn copies and word of mouth. Now quietly available on Tubi, it feels like a rediscovered warning. Fame promises everything and delivers very little. This movie doesn't offer comfort, but it offers honesty, and that honesty makes it one of the boldest films of its era. Number 4 brings us a different kind of road trip. Paper Moon, 1973. Some films feel light on the surface and quietly devastating underneath. Paper Moon is one of those rare stories that makes you smile while sneaking up on your emotions. Directed by Peter Bogdanovich, this black and white road movie follows a fast-talking drifter and a sharp-minded young girl traveling across the Midwest during the Great Depression. Ryan O'Neal plays the charming con artist who thinks he's in control. But the real star is Tatum O'Neal, his real-life daughter, who plays the child who quickly proves she's smarter, tougher, and more observant than anyone around her. Their chemistry feels natural because it is. The banter snaps. The pauses matter. Nothing feels forced. What makes Paper Moon special is how honest it is. It doesn't turn hardship into comedy, and it doesn't soften reality. It shows survival as a series of small hustles, clever choices, and emotional walls people build to keep moving forward. Tatum O'Neal's performance earned her an Academy Award, making history in the process. Despite its acclaim, the film often slipped in and out of availability due to rights issues that made it harder for new audiences to discover its quiet brilliance. Now streaming on Tubi, Paper Moon feels timeless. It's funny without being silly, warm without being sentimental, and sharp without being cruel. Few films balance heart and honesty this well. Number 3 is a celebration of life. Cooley High, 1975. Before coming-of-age stories became a genre, this film told it straight. Cooley High captures the joy, humor, and heartbreak of growing up in 1970s Chicago. Directed by Michael Schultz, it follows two best friends as they skip school, chase dreams, and try to outrun consequences. What makes the film stand out is its authenticity. The characters feel real because they are allowed to be imperfect. They laugh loudly, dream boldly, and stumble often. The dialogue feels lived in, not written for effect. Everyday moments become meaningful simply because the film lets them breathe. The soundtrack adds another layer, filled with classic songs that give the story rhythm and soul. Each track feels placed with care, turning scenes into memories. Beneath the fun, there's an understanding that youth doesn't last forever, and some lessons arrive too fast. When it was released, the film connected deeply with audiences and inspired later classics, including a popular television series. Yet over time, Cooley High faded from mainstream access, passed along mostly by recommendation. Its return on Tubi matters. This is a film about friendship, loss, and the fragile space between childhood and adulthood. Honest, funny, and quietly powerful, it still speaks clearly decades later. Number 2. A Patch of Blue, 1965. Some films change minds without raising their voices. A Patch of Blue tells the story of a blind young woman who forms an unlikely friendship that slowly opens her world. Elizabeth Hartman delivers a deeply moving performance filled with vulnerability and curiosity. Opposite her, Sidney Poitier brings warmth and quiet strength that anchors the film. Shot in gentle black and white, the movie feels intimate and sincere. It doesn't rush to make a point. Instead, it lets understanding grow naturally through shared moments and honest conversation. The story focuses on kindness, patience, and the courage it takes to see beyond fear. When the film was released, it stood out for its humanity at a time when Hollywood often avoided difficult subjects. Audiences responded and critics praised its sincerity. Awards followed. Yet, despite its success, it slowly slipped out of public view, overshadowed by louder titles. For years, it was difficult to find outside special releases. Its quiet arrival on Tubi gives it the space it deserves. This is a film that reminds you how powerful simple stories can be. No spectacle, no excess. Just two people learning how to trust and connect. Its message hasn't aged. If anything, it feels more necessary now than ever. And finally, number 1. The Killing, 1956. This is where modern crime cinema truly begins. Before Stanley Kubrick became a household name, he made The Killing, a tightly constructed story about a racetrack robbery told from multiple perspectives. It doesn't rely on speed, it relies on precision. Sterling Hayden leads the cast as a man planning one final score, believing preparation will protect him from chaos. Kubrick fractures the timeline, revisiting moments from different angles, building tension through structure rather than action. Every edit matters. Every decision carries weight. When the film was released, it didn't find massive success, but filmmakers noticed. Its influence spread quietly, shaping how stories would be told for decades. Later, directors openly cited it as inspiration for some of the most famous crime films ever made. For years, The Killing was hard to find outside film schools and collector editions. That made it feel almost mythical. Seeing it now clean and accessible on Tubi feels like opening a history book and realizing the first chapter was always the most important. This is lean filmmaking at its sharpest. No wasted scenes, no excess, just pure control. If you want to understand where modern storytelling truly started, this is the place to begin. So, there you have it. 12 rare classics that didn't disappear, they just waited, hidden in plain sight, quietly added, and ready to remind you why movies used to take risks. Which one are you watching first? Drop it in the comments. Hit like if you discovered something new, and subscribe for more hidden gems, because great cinema never vanishes. It just waits for the right moment to be found.